Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Welcome to this week's Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant to stimulate your thinking in either the realm of sales and or leadership. Today's show is going to be an interesting show, I promise you. The title for today's show is Cigarettes Are Okay. That's right, cigarettes are okay. So if you're tuning in because you saw today's show title and you're shocked about the title, how it worked, I got to share with you. Today's show came about after a conversation with my number 3 son, Dennis. He and I were talking, and he shared one of the most profound comments I've heard in a long time, or thoughts that I've heard in a long time. It was especially impactful to me because all the people in my generation don't believe that the millennials stay connected and are in touch. And this is just another proof that, A, they are, and probably more profound and in touch than we were when we were their age. The fact now that I have 5 sons, 3 stepsons, and 2 daughter-in-laws gives me a place to be able to really understand the greatness of this generation. I'm not going to go there today, but I've done it in prior shows and talked about the bright outlook and the future with the millennials and all the awesome things they do represent and how productive they really are. But today's show is been spurred on by, quote, a millennial, Mr. Dennis, my number 3 son. And it was very profound to me. So why the show's title, Cigarettes are okay for you? Dennis shared with me the impact of cigarettes that he knew about on baby boomers and everyone afterwards. The cancer, heart disease, all the stuff, and how it impacted people's lives. And then he shared with me, Dad, I want to share with you something that's going to eclipse that phenomena today and in the future. And I was like, what are you talking about? So again, he reminded me that in the 50s and 60s, cigarettes were cool. Everyone smoked. It was okay to smoke in office, restaurants, airplanes, buses. It didn't matter. Now, I never smoked, so it was kind of annoying to me, but it didn't matter back in the 60s and 70s. Move the clock forward, and today you're not allowed to smoke in public areas unless designated. And so today is not about the pros and cons of laws and the evolution. It's about how something that impact health and productivity in U.S. adults and some minors, what that evolution looked like. And societies had to deal with the health issues and productivity issues. Actually, smoke breaks are considered hours worked by wage an hour. So they're not required by law. They're not time off if you go have a cigarette. So smoking's definitely had a huge impact, both health-wise, time-wise. I can't tell you how many times in years past at my companies, I would look out and there'd be 4 or 5 people standing out by a tree smoking to get their cigarette and then come back in. I don't know what kind of time that added up to. So between time allocation, health allocation, everything else, smoking was definitely a bad deal. But we didn't understand that when it first started. We thought it was cool. Everybody advertised it was really something going on. So what was Dennis's point? He proceeded to share that social media, especially on the smartphones in your hand, are the new addiction and are creating productivities and even health issues as people get impacted by the comments, self-image, just jealousies of others, and this fit of depression that's very documentable. As a matter of fact, there's a new disease that's being touted called FOMO, and it's the fear of missing out, and it's very real. It's very real. And so when you start kind of analyzing this, it gets kind of scary. And today's show is about the profound thing that hit me with it. 77% of the people in the U.S. have social media profiles and are using social media of some type. So you're probably saying to yourself, what's your point? Well, I actually, in previous shows, I teach about time management and how to improve your life in 10 minutes a day. So if you were to take a timer and time out 10 minutes and do it every day on something, whether it's read a book, write poetry, paint, whatever your thing you're trying to get done but never have enough time, go for a walk, exercise for 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day of exercise, 365, you're going to be ripped, I promise you. You don't even have to go to the gym. So I talk and teach that all the time, 10 minutes a day, even have a timer. Have a timer here, have a timer everywhere, teaching people it. So when I researched and started kind of taking in what Dennis shared with me, I decided, I'm going to find out just how this really is. And I know I'm on it, so I wonder how this really works. So I researched it, and here's the data. And this data is anywhere you want to search it by all these different institutes and stuff on social media consumption. And interestingly enough, they all come back to the same point. So the research says that the average person spends 2 hours and 24 minutes a day on social media. That's right, 2 hours and 24 minutes a day. That's 876 hours a year. It's 21.9, let's round it up, 22-hour, 40-hour work weeks a year. Welcome to this new reality. Welcome to this new reality. Think about it. So after this research, I concluded Dennis is 100% right. The answer is absolutely social media is the new addiction and work productivity issues of these times, and it makes cigarette smoking seem like it was never a big deal. Even from a health standpoint, depression, all those things are going to supersede, they're going to exacerbate everything we've ever thought about. And we're seeing that happen every day. So I did my own screen time review, and I went back on my own phone. I'm a 68-year-old guy, and my time on social media, interestingly enough, was under average a little bit. But I got to tell you, Mr. Freak on 10 minutes a day, you can do anything you want, I was totally embarrassed. As a time freak, it was like, OMG, I could not believe it. I was wasting and waste time on stuff that impacts me, where I could be sitting in the backyard just chilling out, finishing the book I'm trying to get my real estate license. If I worked just half the time I was on social media, getting my real estate, my public adjuster's license, all the different things I want to do, and in fact work a little bit on, they would be done by now. They would be done. That would all be in the book. I'd be sitting around on some other journey to improve my life. So this was a real wake-up call for me. This was a real wake-up call in time impact or time utilization for me. And as the freak for the 10 minutes a day, I promise you it will become a wake-up call for you. So look at the impacts of this disease and see how it's impacting you, your relationships, and other aspects of your life. My recommendation is get rid of the 2020 cigarettes in your life and gain back valuable time to be the best version of you. And a big shout out and thank you to Dennis for this profound subject. And I can only hope that it may have stimulated some of you to think about gaining back some of life's biggest asset, time. Thank you so much for tuning in each week, and remember to share if this helps you. My book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, is available on Amazon, and I promise you there's points in there about this, and I'm almost embarrassed to recommend the book after I proved out I'm such a hypocrite. If you ever have a question, just email me at help@deanakers.com. That's help@deanakers.com, and I'll be glad to help you. So, today's message: put down your 2020 cigarettes. It will change your life. Have a great week.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanakers.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.